Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
And Sebastian Tyson, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that.
No, you're okay.
All right, I've got you on Zoom. How do I pronounce your last name, sir?
It's a Thiessen.
Tyson?
Yep.
All right. And did you want to choose to have a contested hearing today, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay. And so I'm going to call case 3A0001685. And this was an allegation of speeding for 20 miles an hour over the limit. Let me just review the officer's testimony here. All right, Mr. Thiessen, if you could raise your right hand, do you swear the testimony you'll give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, what did you want the court to know about these allegations?
So I was traveling southbound to work in the middle lane, and as I was passing a car that was in the middle lane, I changed to the fast lane on the left. As I was passing the car, I observed that there was a police officer parked on the shoulder. As I moved back to the middle lane, he quickly got behind me and pulled me over. He stated that I was doing 80 miles per hour. I do not agree with that statement. I asked for proof of how he came to that conclusion. He said he used a radar gun. I asked for proof as my radar detector did not go off. He refused to give me proof, and so here I am.
All right,
I
so the
was
officers.
reading.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I was reading his statements, and they all line up with what we discussed at the time of the incident. But it's still just his word against my word at this point. There's no physical proof of my speed.
All right, I understand your argument. Did you have any evidence or witnesses to present in addition to that?
No, I was the only one in the car.
Okay. So I don't know why your radar detector didn't go off, but it looks like the officer was using a speed measuring device called a Pro Laser 3 speed monitoring device, and the officers included an affidavit describing in detail the certification of the accuracy of that device and the proper use of it, and that the officer used it properly. So I'm going to find that this offense was committed, more likely than not, which is the standard for these civil proceedings, and you will have to pay the infraction.
Can I make a statement?
It was $596, and you'll just have to pay that at your convenience as soon as you can.
But so he just wrote what he felt was right. There's still no proof of that. Can he present the actual radar detector that with the stated thing?
According to the case law and according to our rules of evidence, the evidence is sufficient to find the allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. So thank you.
What do you mean by preponderance of evidence?
That means more likely than not. So I'm finding it's more likely than not that the officer's writing you up for the infraction was proper and you did commit the offense.
But there's no proof of that, is what I'm saying. Like you're saying it's what he said and against what I said. Is there a second officer that could statement that could like
I've explained it to you the best I can. It's sufficient evidence under our rules.
but there was nothing, there's no evidence. It's just he say at this point.
Yeah, like I said, that's all I can tell you. I've made my findings and we're going to move on to the next case. So have a great day. Byron Martin. Mr. Martin, you're present.
Yes.
And this is a contested hearing for 3A0650571. Mr. Martin, did you hear me describe your options of either a mitigation hearing or deferral or proceeding with a contested hearing?
Yes, I did. I'd like to try to proceed with the contested hearing.
Okay, no problem. Let me go ahead and review the infraction affidavit and just give me a moment.
Okay.
All right, I've read the officer's affidavit, and I believe we have the officer present here as well. Officer, is it Williams? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Did you have anything to add to your affidavit for the court? And if so, I can swear you in. If not, I'll just rest on the affidavit.
Uh, I don't have anything to add, but I can respond if he brings up something that might be interesting to you.
Okay, just stand by a minute then. So Mr. Martin, if you could raise your right hand. Do you swear the testimony you're going to give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, you can proceed with what you'd like the court to know.
Just basically my version of what happened is I was driving, heading home from work, and I was coming from about Olympia, and I was entering Nisqually. I noticed a police officer sitting on a police bike, probably about half a mile away. On the right side of me, there was like 3 or 4 cars passing me, and there was also a car that just cut me off, and he was going pretty excessively faster than I was. And I think mainly the reason why I brought the officer here was our personal conversation that we had near the car. But I think from where I was sitting that he may have scanned one of the other cars that were either passing me on the right side or one of the ones that were around me. I was in a pretty high traffic situation. I asked him when he came up to my door, I said, well, how do you know that you like tagged the right car with your laser? And he said basically he can, tag any car that he wants, and he's been doing this for a long time, which I respect, like his length of time doing the job. But I just feel that he may have like mispointed it and scanned somebody else, because I was cruising for probably like the past like 10-15 minutes, and I was not speeding, and I was going the speed limit, and on top of that there was multiple other cars passing me at the time. And so when I asked him, I was like, do you guys have like a camera on your radar or something like that proves it? He said no. And then he reassured me. He's like, I've been doing this for a long time and stuff. And I was like, well, I just feel at the end of the day, the officer could have made like a mistake and scanned one of the other cars, or like skimmed by one of them. I don't think, his machine was broken. I don't think anything was like that. I know he's got stuff to do. I mainly just wanted him to testify that like, yeah, we had that conversation, and yeah, he could scan any other car. And I just feel that there was maybe a mistake because there were so many cars, around me. And also like when he got behind me, cars were still flying past me, and I had to like basically like squeeze in between cars. So there was definitely cars that were going faster than I was, and I know I wasn't going that fast. Like 100%, I know I wasn't going that fast.
All right, Mr. Martin, it looks like you were driving a Ford Taurus. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What color is your car?
It's white.
All right, and what car are you saying passed you? What kind of car passed you at the time?
To be honest, I don't know what kind of cars it was. I just know that there was like 3 of them, and I had to squeeze between 2 of them. And I know that there was one in front of me, and I know that they were all driving faster than I was at the time. And I've seen him, and like my reaction is not going to be to speed up or do anything like that if I see a police officer too. So it's just like I'm being passed by other vehicles. I'm not doubting the officer's intelligence or the machine or anything, but I know that I wasn't going that fast, and there was other cars going faster than I was. And
All right, I hate to cut you off, but I've got a busy docket, so I understand your testimony. We do have the officer in court via Zoom. Trooper Williams, did you want to add anything to that?
Sure, I'll add something to it. He had a lot to say. I'll address a couple of them. I don't usually have court on the road, but if a person's cooperative, I'll talk to them for just a quick moment. But for the interest of safety, I don't want to sit there and have a long conversation with somebody on the side of the road. It's not a smart thing to do. I mean, it's self-preservation, and I don't want to take people's time up. I know they got places to go.
yeah,
I operated the laser the way I've been trained to do it, and I've been doing it for so long. What we do though is we take if you look through the laser eye part, you'll see that there's a red dot. You take that red dot and you put it in between the headlights of the vehicle that you already think is going too fast, and that adds to the tracking history. So even before that part, I'll look. I'm just sitting there looking at traffic, watching it approach me. And yes, there's more than one car on the road. There's hardly ever just one car on the road unless it's 3 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So there's going to be other cars out there. And for
And so
27
I'm
years,
sorry, Trooper Williams, let me cut you off real quick because I forgot to swear you in. If you could raise your right hand and just swear the testimony you're giving today is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
absolutely.
All right, and that applies to what you just said for the last couple minutes as well, I assume.
All right. So, anyways,
Thank you.
so I use the laser the way I've been taught, the way I've been doing it for so many years. Saw the vehicle coming, obviously over the speed of 60 miles an hour. So that's when I decided to obtain the speed with my laser. And I did it the way I just described to you by taking the red dot and placing it between the headlights of the vehicle that I believe is going too fast. And within a second, you'll get a reading. But if I were to hold my laser down, the trigger down, I can get another reading. Or it can just show the difference in speed if you were to slow up or speed up. If I just hold my trigger down. I don't usually do that though. I get the reading I need, and then I'll stop that vehicle. And while I'm stopping vehicles, yes, other vehicles will pass you at times, especially if that car is slowing down when I'm stopping them. So that's nothing new. And I think that's all I got. I did write him a ticket. I wrote him for 1 mile per hour over the speed limit. I wrote him for 61 and a 60, even though he's doing 74, which is certainly a difference in fine amounts. I don't have any personal recollection of Mr. Martin there. Seemed like a kind person. I don't recall, but that was probably, to be honest with you, probably about 400 stops ago. So I just don't remember. I don't remember these people personally. I can't remember half the people I stopped today,
Right.
to be honest with you.
Thank you, Trooper. I appreciate it. Mr. Martin, did you have anything in rebuttal? I'll give you a minute.
Just no, I know that, we were on the stop pretty quickly. Like we were on the side of the road, like right after the bridge. So it was like kind of unsafe for us to be there. And he was like, yeah, we should get out of here, get off the road and stuff. So I remember him saying that. But my thing is I just know that there was a lot of other cars that were on the road. And for him to have the time to put that light in front of my two headlights or whatever, and there's cars passing me on the right side, I just feel, like it could, maybe when he had his eye up, like something, could have happened to where a car was next to me and he accidentally scanned that one or something. But I know when I was looking down and how far I'd already been driving that I wasn't speeding, and the cars were passing me the whole time. It wasn't just when he started to pull me over. This was I was
All right, Mr. Martin, I understand your testimony. Thank you. Sorry to cut you off, but we are short on time, and I understand the trooper's testimony. I've read the trooper's affidavit. These decisions aren't always easy, but based on the trooper's experience and knowledge using the Custom Signals Pro Laser 3 LiDAR system, I'm going to go ahead and find that more likely than not that the infraction was committed. I would note that the trooper already mitigated this by a great deal by only imposing an infraction of 1 mile an hour over the speed limit. So the fine is only $114. So even if you had chosen mitigation, Mr. Martin, I couldn't lower it much more than that anyway. So, but I will find that it was committed, and therefore you will have to pay the $114 fine. And sorry for the bad news, but have a great day. I appreciate your both being here and arguing the matter.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, Cameron Wilson, are you here?
Yes, I am.
All right. If you have video, great. If not, I'll just go with audio. Did you want to proceed with a contested hearing or choose one of the other options?
Hold on. Yes, I do.
You want to proceed with a contested hearing?
Yes.
Okay, let me go ahead and read the infraction report then real quick. All right, if you could raise your right hand, sir. Mr. Wilson, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, and you understand that this is a civil proceeding and therefore I'm reviewing the facts with the understanding that the government has to prove its case by preponderance of the evidence, which is fancy lawyer speak for more likely than not, okay?
Okay.
All right, so what's your version of what happened here?
I kind of need a remembrance because my life is hectic, so I can't recall exactly what happened or where this infraction happened. I spend
All right.
I spend all my
Is
time
it-
in the car. I live in my car, so
All right, well, it's not really my role to act as a prosecutor. I'm just curious. The officer said that you had told the officer that your speedometer did not work and that you were using a phone app as a speedometer. Is that right?
yes, sir. Okay, I recall that now. Yes, and I have my girlfriend with me. We were door dashing, so we have and I just pulled. He basically saw me at the light, and my car is an eyesore. I could get out and show you. My car is really messed up, like in the
No, I
rear
don't
end.
need.
It's
I
ugly.
don't need to see it. I believe you.
I get pulled over all the time, sir, and it's you know what I mean. And we door dash like 24/7 sometimes. And he saw me in a ugly car, and I saw him, and I turned in front of him, and he followed me. And my car at the time was only running on 6 cylinders, so I had to gun it because I was going up a hill. And that's when he said that I was speeding. But on the app I was watching, it said I wasn't speeding. And then
All right, I understand.
come to find out,
So,
I've gotten 2 speeding tickets, and I had my tires replaced, but they're not the right size tires. They're oversized. They're like really tall. And the technician told me that that would throw my speedometer off about 5 miles an hour. I just learned this like last week. So, and the app updated, so now it shows the correct speed and everything because I know how fast I'm going. I don't pay attention to my thing anymore because I know I got big, huge tires. So I was
all
unaware I
right,
was even speeding.
I understand. So, but based on your testimony, I am going to find more likely than not that the officer's description of the infraction was correct. The officer used proper speed detection equipment that was inspected, it was in service, it was proper. And the officer gave you an infraction for a little bit lower than what they'd actually determined your speed was. So I'm gonna find it did happen and the infraction was committed, which means you will have to pay the $135 penalty for this infraction. And you can pay that to Thurston County District Court at your convenience. But thank you for appearing here today and best of luck to you. All right, you're free to go, sir. Thank you. Do we have any attorneys in the room right here or on Zoom who are ready to go? All right, I'm not hearing from
Your Honor, I
anyone.
have,
Sorry, go ahead.
thank you, Your Honor. For the record, Joshua from GD Mocostone's office. This is the Christian Ayers matter, AYERS. Case number 3A0001699.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mucklestone. I've got that case in front of me and we'll go ahead and call that one. Is
Thank
your
you.
client on Zoom or in person?
I
not
am
appearing.
I am appearing on his behalf, and we're asking the court to waive his presence, and I don't see him on Zoom.
Okay, yeah, no problem. We'll waive his presence. And I see that this was a contested hearing. Is that what your client wants to do?
Correct, Your Honor, and I do have a preliminary motion when the court is ready.
Let me give me just a moment to read the infraction here. All right, and this is a case with an affidavit sworn out by Washington State Patrol Officer Neiman and involved an allegation of speeding near milepost 102 on Interstate 5. Is that right?
Your Honor, we filed our notice of appearance and request for discovery back on October 21st. We haven't received discovery. I do see in the docket that there is, I believe, an affidavit mailing by the prosecuting attorney's office on the 3rd, but we haven't received anything. And so I do have a motion to suppress and dismiss, but I don't know how the court will rule on that.
And what's the basis for your motion to suppress?
3.1B, Your Honor. Discovery request was made on October 21st, and we have not received discovery.
All right, and there is no prosecutor here to contest your motion, so in that event, I'll go ahead and grant the motion. I'll suppress the infraction report and affidavit and dismiss the action, finding that it was not committed.
Thank you, Your Honor, and that's my only matter today. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ms. Maltstone. Have a good day.
Thank you.